Okay, here we go. It took a little bit, but we're up. We're up and running. How's everybody doing tonight? Oh, can you really? I didn't know that, Ed. I'll have to give that a try here tomorrow. Figure out how to do that. Hope everybody's doing well tonight. Hi, this is Rick. Glad to have everybody here tonight. I really appreciate it. So let's talk about the market first. And by the way, if anyone has any questions, I'd be more than happy to try to answer them for you. If I can't answer them, then I'll pretty much tell you I can't answer them. So, okay, so the market here, let me pull up this chart. There we go. You can see here that the blue line, by the way, is the 50-day simple. The green line is the 20 simple. You can see clearly that the bulls came up to the 50, and evidently it kind of scared them. And here we are pulling back. In the room today, I talked about this a little bit, and I'm not trying to be bullish. I'm not trying to be bearish. Here's the chart. And one thing that all bullish charts do, and I'm not trying to say that we're bullish and we're going to stay bullish. I'm not saying that. I'm just, pointing to the chart here. And all charts that are trending up, and then the opposite for charts trending down, is that, let's see here. We rally up, we pull back, we rally up, and we pull back. So far, all we have really is a pullback. That's really all we have. Now, for some folks, it's not too good. And the gap down today was a bit ouch for many positions, many of my positions, same way. Let's see, Guy's asking, how do we see the charts? Guy, are you using a phone or a computer? Let's start with that. Computer. Well, you should be seeing the charts. If you're not, at the top right, there are two arrows. They're kind of chasing each other like two little squirrels in love, sort of a thing. Click on that, and that'll refresh the computer and everything. That should work. Outside of that, there's 230 people that it seems to be working for. So, yeah, computer, everything good. Yeah. Two little squirrels in love, chasing each other. Little arrows up there. Okay. So, I guess what I'm trying to say here is if you're going to be short, be sure you want to be short. Be sure the charts are short. Make sure you're looking for your chart patterns. You just don't want to short just because. You don't want to be long just because. Make sure you follow those chart patterns. So as I look at this chart, I've got the 20-day simple here. So to me, if we start failing that 20-day simple, which let's put up a little horizontal line, and to me there seems like there's a little support right here. By the way, just because we can put a line up and somebody can say, well, that looks like support to me, there could be a million people look at that and say, hey, that looks like support to me. But it doesn't mean that price has to support there, okay? If we fail this, there's a little bit of a gap down here. So that is very possible, could possibly get filled. So if you're on the wrong side of a trade and you're green or red today, it's very possible you're going to see a whole lot of pain before we get down here and find that reversal, if it's going to reverse. This would be a good time to mention to traders that, we don't have to trade every single day. In fact, we don't have to trade on any given week, for that matter, or even 2 weeks. I know we want to. It's kind of funny. Sometimes people, they have jobs they go to. They get in their cars every morning. They drive through traffic. They go to their job, and they really hate their job. They really do. If they loved their job, they'd be there on time, early with donuts, you know, that sort of thing. Traders, all traders love their job. So you're always here early. You're always ready to go. You've always got donuts. You're ready. I mean, let's rock and roll. All traders love their job. Even bad traders, they love their job. And sometimes when we love our job, we try to do it too much sometimes. So, you know, a good test, if you're a really good trader, a good test is that you can actually not trade for a few days, maybe even a few weeks if you need to, okay? So that's something to think about. Test yourself, see where you fall in that category. I'm just trying to suggest for some people, you know who you are. I don't know who you are. This might not be the best time to be trading such volatility, okay? All right, so that's the SPY there. Today in the room, I know that there were several people here took some nice short-term swings on SPY puts, diamond puts, things like that, and did very well. Congratulations to those folks that did that. Netflix. There we go. Let me delete something over here. There we go. Netflix reported tonight, and at one point tonight it was up here around that 484, but it's really calmed down back to this. It looks like 433 area if everything is right, if I'm getting a right reading. So we might want to keep an eye on that. Netflix could be a real game changer on how the market acts. And FNGU, this is a terrific ticker symbol to remember. FNGU, if you don't know what it is, write it down. It's the FANG ETF. If you want to know more about it, Google it. It actually follows the SPY pretty close, or the SPY follows it maybe. But it's one to keep an eye on. And the direction this goes is usually the direction the market goes. Usually. So if turns out tomorrow everybody loves Netflix starts moving up, there's a very good chance that this starts moving up, and it might bring the market up a little bit. Let's see. A few things here. I better get caught up. Is this webinar registered? I'm not sure what you mean by registered, Driss. No, not sure what you mean by that. Don't just lose dollars. Yeah, that's a good one, Chris. And Phil, 6 CT short. I don't do shorthand very well. Sorry. Gonna have to write it out for me. Okay. Short Netflix, if it says so tomorrow. If it says so, you know, right now, if we start moving below about 433.30 something, basically the bottom of today's body, then yeah, that could definitely be a little short up there. We have a shooting star with follow through. It popped back up, and it didn't close up today. But like I said, the earnings, it was up here around 484. Right after the close, but it certainly has backed down. Now the question is, which directions are going to go tomorrow? And I just don't know too many people that can tell you that answer and put their money where their mouth is. We can sure shout out what we think, but I would rather just follow that chart. So a good way to look at this, I think, would be to short below 433.36. and be long pretty much above 445.30, about the high today or the open today. Anything in the middle, I would pretty much just leave alone. Wouldn't do too much with it. Maybe in the middle, what you might do is the market opens up. You can go to a 15-minute. Oh, let me fix this. Let's fix that. There we go. So the market opens up tomorrow, and if you're inside this area right in here, maybe, let's make the candle kind of a neutral color. We'll just, this will represent a neutral color. Doesn't matter if it's bullish or bearish, just inside that area there. So maybe you wait for that first 5-minute candle, and then what you would do is, if we start, let's do this differently. If we start trading above that first 5-minute candle, if you're into that 5-minute thing, you can trade to the long side, and certainly it breaks out. That's what we would look at. And then bearish, let that first 5-minute candle get in there, and then you might look bearish if we start moving to the downside. But right now it's kind of hard to really say until you get that follow through. So, all right. One thing I want to cover tonight, and I wrote it in an email and I sent it to you, and I think I have, oh, you're welcome, Phil. I think I've run across what I personally think might be the perfect scan. The perfect scan. And it's taking a chart pattern. Let's see, let's do this here. And let's just look at, let's look at NEM. It's taking a chart pattern, and one that we like a lot and that a lot of folks here make money on is what we call the trap. The trap is nothing more than a slow moving average and a faster moving average. You can build it out of any two moving averages you want. I have several that I use, but probably the most widely used and the one definitely the most widely used one is the 3/8 trap. Okay, and that's right there. That's the three EMA, this green line, and this is the 8 exponential moving average. And what we're looking for are charts that pop up and pull back within that trap area. And ideally what you're wanting is the chart to continue up higher, right? Well, then what we're looking for is that price signal in there to give us the go-ahead to get in, knowing that we start trading below. For me, it's kind of simple. It's, why do you like the chart? Well, I like the chart because it's in the trap and I bought it inside the trap. Therefore, if it closed outside the trap, I would be out of it. Theoretically, you wouldn't like it. So you wouldn't want to stay there. So here we are. Let's make this green. See, we've rallied up. We've actually rallied up to a high, and then again, it pulled right back in that area, and now we've broken out to the upside. We've made that high, and now we've pulled right back into that trap area. And I think I would venture to say that if there were 100 traders out there total, just 100, I would say 99 of them would tell you that this is probably one of the best chart patterns ever. When you have a rally that goes up and a pullback and a rally that goes up, and you're trying to catch this one. Now, I truly believe that pretty much every trader out there would agree to that. It doesn't mean they trade that. It doesn't mean that they've perfected it. It doesn't mean they've mastered it. But they would tell you that this is probably one of the most money-making and best chart patterns out there. And that's what we're looking for here. The trick is to capture this in some area or trap it. And that's what we've attempted to do. And I think we've done a pretty good job at it. I think we've done that. Now, so I'm all the time talking about it takes multiple conditions to make a reason. And what I mean by that is, you know, you might require a trend. That might be a condition. You might require a flag, maybe. That's a condition. You might, you know, if you're into volume or something, you might require volume. You might require breaking out before you actually buy. So this could be a condition. So I think it's very helpful, and I think it's beneficial to every trader to have multiple conditions. And you know how many conditions? That's, you know, you can find, if you can't find at least two conditions, I don't think I would take the trade. I think if you're looking for five, that's top of the line. That's top of the line. Now, if you have a dozen indicators on your chart, yeah, you could probably find five reasons. But if you had a dozen indicators on your chart, you could probably find some reasons not to buy the chart too. So I try to look at 1, 2, 3, maybe 4. And, you know, it really is rare to see 5. It really, really is. But you've got to have multiple conditions. Now, one of my conditions is I want to see the trend. This is the 17, the dotted line here, the green dots and the red dots. That's a 17 EMA. In a lot of my scans, I actually have the 34 trending, but I've removed that because of the recent drop, because it takes a while to turn that 34 EMA back up. So I've kind of removed it from a lot of my scans. Otherwise, nothing would come through. Someday I'll put it back, but I still want some sort of a trend. Maybe the 17. I mean, it could be the 10 for that matter, but you really want some sort of a trend. So that's a condition for me. That's a condition. I want to see that trending up. Another condition for me, which I've never been a big user of the volatility stop. I've never been a huge user of it till recently. And what I started working with is scans that, because we like charts that pull back. You know, we call them, a generic term for them as PBOs, pullback opportunities. Pullback opportunity is it's just a generic statement. We want charts that are trending, and I want to be alerted when we have a PBO, an opportunity on a pullback. So an opportunity on a pullback would mean we have a green candle in there, or a series of green candles, something that might suggest a bottom is there. That's what we call a PBO. Well, one of the things that Doug, Right Way Options, Doug, you guys all know him, I'll use the words he came up with, which he didn't invent the volatility stop, but he sure brought it to the table on how we use it. And I've done some research on this, and I can't find anyone that has ever used it like this before. If they do, you know, I want to send out an apology to them. But I don't know of anyone that has actually used the volatility stop like Doug brought to the table here. So anyway, looking at the idea of a stock that rallies and pulls back to that PBO area, that pullback opportunity, that volatility stop works out quite well. So I started messing around, and I had a couple conversations with Ed. Ed certainly, Ed did the work. I just threw out some ideas. And honestly, I think I've come up with what could be the perfect scan. In fact, that's what I'm thinking about naming it. To even a little bit to my point, over the past year or so, Ed has called me up, we Skype, and or if I have a problem, I'll let him know. And the majority of the time, what happens is I've got too many windows open, and I'm always telling Ed, well, I'll get rid of some, and I do, but I always bring back more because I'm always looking for that perfect scan. I'm always looking for it. Over the past, say, week, I've eliminated half the scans off my screen, and I've yet to bring them back. And I kind of don't think I am, because I am just darn right in love with the whole idea of this scan. And this is the type of chart. And today, kind of as a, somebody was asking for a chart that consolidated tight, and we were looking at this, and I threw out the comment, do you like it? Somebody asked, well, where would you buy it? I said, well, I'll buy it right now. And actually today's candle was a little higher. I was just explaining how I might buy a chart. And so I bought it just to prove this is what I do. And I think a few other people bought some NEM. And I've got no clue that it's actually going to go up higher. I'm just putting some conditions out there that I require. I require a trend. Whoops, let's change the color there. I require a trend. I require some sort of a consolidation. And consolidation actually can be, say, from this top, it can be all the way down here. Consolidation doesn't have to be, how did I do that? Let's try that again. All the way from this top down here could be consolidation. There we go. So consolidation doesn't have to be sideways. Consolidation can be that pullback opportunity type setup, or that flag maybe. That's what makes J hooks. Continuation patterns is what that is. Well, so anyway, just, in the room today, talking in the room, put my money where my mouth is. I bought this. Okay, great. I think a few other people did. But right now, I just want to point out the conditions. And we have the trend. You can see right here, we have the trap. We have the trap. And we have the volatility stop right there. Right there. Now, anyone that's done any work with the volatility stop, especially if you've worked with Doug uses it an awful lot, and he talks about it an awful lot. Like I said, I've never really used it that much till recently. And it was just messing around with scans, always looking for the holy grail of scans. And then this just sort of happened. Yes, this is recorded. Yes, I just checked. I did turn it on. So what I've done is I've added another condition in there. I've added another condition. So not only do I want the trend, but I want the trap area, and I want to be above the volatility stop, but I don't want to be so far above it that you're disjointed from it. You don't want to buy, if you're using a volatility stop, you don't want to buy up there if the volatility stop is that far. And for some folks, this might be too far. This might be too far. And if it is, then don't buy that one. I mean, we can tighten it up. I generally try to run my scans somewhat loose, not as loose as some, but somewhat loose. I want to make my decision here, but we can tighten that up. Let's look at PFE as an example. Look at PFE. Man, if you saw this chart and this was a white candle, okay? Now, I'm not interested in it if it's a black candle. And I could solve that problem in here and make it so it's only white candles. I can do that. It's real easy to do. In fact, I almost did it this afternoon, but we were too close to the close. And if I change it, it dumps everything in here, and I didn't want to dump it out for tonight. But tomorrow, I will put in here only white candles or green candles. So that means it would only start alerting if this candle at that time was white or green, for some folks, if you have green. But if you look at that chart, and if that was a white candle, how could you not put that chart in the area of I'm gonna buy this? You know, I might look at 5 other charts to see if there's some better ones, maybe. But man, you've got to put that on your watch list. DLR. Now, I've had this in the room. I've had this up in the room here all week long. I've had lots of comments on it. All good so far. So everyone's has been in the room, has had a chance to see it. And it's pretty much all I've looked at for the past few days. And, well, here's one, DLR. You know, I mean, I look at DLR. I'm not sure that looks, I'm not sure it's a chart I'm going to chase after. I'd probably look at a couple others before I chose this one. But it's doing exactly what we would want it to do. It is trending up. It is in the chart trap. This does have a white candle. It is a pullback. We're sitting right here at the volatility stop. So, again, if we can pull up charts like this, if you could pull up half a dozen, 2 dozen, 3 dozen charts in a day that look similar to this, or in that area that you might like. I mean, take a look at what is that? WMGI. I mean, that just looks fabulous, and there we are, right there at that volatility stop. So anyway, I am contemplating putting a name on this of, right now I just call it the V-stop with 3/8 trap, something like the perfect scan. I think it is as close that I've ever seen in my 33 years of trading, a scan that I would use that word perfect with it. It's this one right here. All right, let me see here. I get to talking, and let's see. I love the volatility stop. Firmed up my rules. You're right, Tim. It's a great rule, or a great condition to have. It really, really is. That to me would be the perfect 3/8 trap with tight volatility stop and a white candle. Moves the wrong way, very little risk. You got it, Tim. You've nailed it. That's exactly, that's exactly what we have here. And tomorrow I will look at that. And I'm not cherry picking these folks. I mean, we can go look at every one of these. I am looking at the green ones, but we can go look at some of the red candle ones too. Look at that chart. It's insane, the type of chart it's pulling up. It truly is insane. Here's Nike, which it has a red arrow. Let's see. See, Nike, if you take out the candle, which, like I said, tomorrow I'm gonna fix this so it just shows white candles. So it's, for me, white. For somebody else, it might be green, maybe. So this would never show up. But if you take out the price action, if you take out the look of that candle, here you are. We've got everything we need. We've got everything we need. Look at that trend. Beautiful trend. We've broken out. We've pulled back, broke out, we pulled back right to the volatility stop. If that candle turned white today, that would have been a killer of an entry. Killer of an entry. So anyway, we'll look at a couple more here. Hey, look at that. I mean, I look at this chart and I just can't help thinking, this is a killer alert. Absolutely. All right. Is the scan available on LTA? Let's see. Jamal? Yes and no. It is, but you have to build it. And it's a bit confusing. So I'm not even going to talk about that tonight because it's just kind of confusing. But maybe that I'll have to talk to Ed. But maybe we can make it. And honestly, I'm not convinced yet to make this like a set scan just yet. I'm not convinced it's quite ready for that yet. But what I've done is a couple of times now, I've pushed it out to everybody. Anyone who has the scanner, I've pushed it out twice now that I know of in the past 6-7 days. So if you have the scanner, like I say, I've given it to you. So you should have that. So RC, what are the custom settings? Again, I'll be glad to push it out tomorrow for anybody. Or maybe Ed is doing that now. Help support messages. Yeah. Let's see. Let's see. Aaron, Thinkorswim. What about Thinkorswim? You got to tell me what about Thinkorswim, Aaron. I will be building it tomorrow. LT trading. Oh yeah. Tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern in the LTA Live Trading Alert trading room, Ed will be there. His topic, I think, he said today was going to be this alert. So I'm going to be there tomorrow. You can bet on it because I'll talk to him in the morning. We may make some changes or something, some ideas, but I'll definitely be there. So tomorrow, 2 p.m. Eastern, in the live trading alerts room, we'll be going over this. Ed will be going over this. So let's see. Joe, I'm not sure what really means. Let's see. Bob, what about creating a scan for TC2000? I don't know that you can create the scan in TC2000, Bob. I don't know that you can, honestly. And I suppose somebody with way more smarts than I have probably could. You could probably do that. But I don't have those kind of smarts. So let's see. It's built into TOS. No, this is coming from the LTA scanner. Now, if somebody can build this in TOS, that's great. If you can build it in TC2000, that's wonderful. My hat's off to you. Like I say, you're smarter than I am, and that's, most everyone is. But I stick to the scanner here myself. Let's see. Do you have the scan? No, we don't have it built for Thinkorswim, and I don't use Thinkorswim, so I honestly don't have the foggiest clue. Pete, I'm not sure what you mean by just typing in VStop. I don't know what to say to that. Pete, VStop is. I'm not sure what VStop is. Again, I don't do shorthand real well. Sorry. So let's. There's not. A lot of these have run out. You can see that see that little number right there? There's 189 possible stocks that fit the scan, close to the scan parameters, and then, when they pop in here, they're right there. Wasn't TS okay? I don't think it is, Pete. I think you have to set it up. Yes, the V stop is the volatility stop, Becky. Yes. So let's just, we'll just kind of go in the middle here. There's Facebook. Let's see. See Facebook? Now, if we had this, again, in hindsight, I guess I should have done this early in the morning this morning, is changed it to a white candle. I really didn't think about it. And what it would do is only have a list of those white candle stocks. So we're just going to go poking around. But if I look at Facebook, just imagine if that was a white candle right there. Just imagine that. How you would feel about that chart. Look at that. Now, I'm not making this stuff up. GDX. Well, there's one right there. Look at that. There's your volatility stop. You can't get it straighter or flatter than that. And can you get a chart that's closer to the volatility stop? Oh, I'm sure. Guaranteed. But can you imagine being delivered this? Just here you go. There you go. Would you like some fries with that burger? There you go. How about an ice cold Coke or something? I mean, it just doesn't get any better than this right here. Let's see. Billin, DIA forming a top. There we go. All right, let's see. Diamonds forming a pop out of the box. From the box on the hourly. Let's see here. Hourly. Yeah, absolutely. SPY's doing the same thing. We peeked at that this afternoon. Now that I see it, I recognize it. Yes, it is forming a possible pop out of the box. And there's support right here, right in this area. So right now, unless the market can turn itself around tomorrow morning, there is a very good chance that the diamonds get down to 223.75. Here's the SPY, same type of chart. I don't know what the Qs look like. Oh, Qs, same thing. Let's talk about the Qs for a minute. This just reminded me of that. I don't mean to pull away from this here. Let's see who asked this question. Bill, if you have more questions on this, please speak out. Otherwise, I'm going to slide right back into what I was talking about. See where the red dots are? There's also, honestly, I've been working on, and Ed's been working on a bearish. I'm not sold on the bearish one yet. There's a difference between bullishness and bearishness, and it's just not flipping a chart upside down. We've gone back and forth a few times trying to set one up, and I'm just not comfortable with it yet. Not at all, in fact. But I'm not gonna give up on it. Believe me. I'm like a dog with a bone on this sort of thing. But if you look at that right there, that is perfection, right there. That is absolute perfection for a short, right in here, and that should show up on the bearish side of the alert using the trap and the volatility stop right in there. So let's see. Rick, how do you trade with V-stop? Do you wait until the price kisses? No. I'm going to go back to NEM, the very first chart we looked at tonight. And I'm going back to this because somebody asked me a question today. They were looking for, it all started out with, they were looking for a scan that would bring up tight consolidation. Now, I happen to think that's pretty darn tight consolidation right there. It came up on this alert. So I pointed this out and said, how do you like this? They liked it. And then somebody asked, well, where would you enter this trade? Well, I said in my flippant manner, well, how about right now? What do you want to wait on? I mean, and I could say that right now, this second. Enter it right now. What are you going to wait on? You're going to wait for it to smile at you? You're going to wait for it to kick you in the butt? What are you going to wait on? And, no matter what you say, you're right, okay? So if somebody was to say, well, I don't want to buy it now, I want to buy it when it breaks out. Okay. All right. That's okay. That's your choice. It's your trade. It's your money. Nothing wrong with that. I'm not against that. But as I see this chart, if somebody asks me, what are you waiting on? I'm not waiting. To prove my point, I bought it. I think a few other people in the room did too. So what I'm trying to say, Reggie, to your question is, if you want to wait till price touches the volatility stop, you can. If that's your condition, if that's your shtick, if that's your thing, okay, that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. Me, I'm okay with being 8% from the volatility stop. I'm okay with that. To start with, the volatility stop is a place in the chart. That's all it is. It's a place on the chart. You don't have to put your stop here. You could put your stop right there. And if that's the case, your stop is about 4% away. Okay? What I'm looking for is this chart pattern that have these conditions in there. So how do you trade the volatility stop? Well, first of all, you don't trade it just by itself. You've got to have something to go with it. The volatility stop is probably not worth a tinker's damn by itself. But if you put with it the fact you have a rally and a pullback to it, now you have something. And then if you put the trap in there, what that does is that helps you with an entry, because entry, in my opinion, should be inside the trap or just breaking out of the trap right there. Now that's where I think the perfect trade is. Again, other people might say, no, you want to wait till it breaks out and test. Nothing wrong with that. Rock and roll. I totally agree with that. I hope that was helpful, Reggie. There's just more that goes into it, okay? Let's see, MT, can you change it to a white candles and see the revolts before you close the properties window? No, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that because I'm not finished tonight, to be honest. I'm going to be sitting here a couple hours after this, and I need this list. Sorry. You know what I can do? Hold on. Select all. Watch this. Hang on one second. Who did that? Let's see. So we're going to name this 421 MT. You know what? We can do this. Boom. How's that? There we go. Thank you, MT. Thumbs up. More than one way to skin a cat. So take a look at CVNA. How sweet. AMPL. We already looked at that one. WMGI. We looked at that one. IRBT. Never mind. Sorry, I thought it was a different one. Look at that. How sweet is that? DRL. Look at that. And you know what? I want to do something too. Let's see. Add a condition, new formula. I want to go close greater than or equal to the open. Oops. Let's do this. Say okay. There we go. So let's do this and let's do that right there. Now let's look at eBay. Look at eBay. Look at gold. There's that NEM we bought. Look where these are. My goodness sakes. These are sweet. Ooh, what's that? DKS. How much closer do we want it to the volatility stop? How much more of a pop out of the box do we want? That consolidation. I hadn't even talked about that as being a condition. Actually, I just thought of it. So let's look at this chart here. There's a condition. The trend is a condition. The volatility stop is a condition. Inside the trap is a condition. A low, high. Let's do it this way. Low to higher low to break out. That's a condition. So what I'm going to do is come over and just put a little circle right there. My goodness sakes, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 conditions. 5 conditions. I'm not kidding you when I think we have found what could be the perfect scan. The perfect scan. AUY, which this is going to be good. All the gold stuff is going to be good. Yum. What's Yum doing? Look. Oh. Here, let's go to a naked chart. Look at that. How can you argue with that right there? How can you look at this chart and not get the warm and fuzzies about it? Man. And this to me is truly, truly incredible. I'm sorry, I'm getting behind on some of my chat here. Let's see, Nir, hi, please explain which platform do we need in order to use the scan? It's no platform. Is it Nir? I apologize if I totally destroyed that. It's LTA Trader Vision. You don't even have to be a stock trader to get it. If you just want to watch all the pretty letters and the arrows go by, you can just do it. It's standalone. Let's see, Tim, but Rick, it's a black candle because it closed below. I know, and I don't care. I don't care that it closed below the previous. I'm looking for candles that are open. I want to see, because if this candle was right here, if this was black like this, I would not be that interested in it. Even if it was right on support, I wouldn't be that interested in it because there's too many out there to choose from. I would only want to be interested in charts that were giving me that reason to buy. An example would be right here maybe, or right here, or right here, or right here. These are the candles I look for. I know a lot of traders that, they're determined to buy these dark candles because they think they're catching bottoms, and they usually don't last in the game. Usually don't last. So I'm looking for these white candles. And let's see, Tim, I apologize. I didn't read your whole thing. Using this middle of the day, you may get in earlier if the buyers step in. Yeah, using it earlier in the day, you're going to catch this right now. Absolutely. Let's see, Phil. Let's see, EQX. That's nice. Let's see if that gets in our world. It does. Look at that. It's right there in our world. Sitting on the volatility stop. Your trend is up. We've got. So let's do this because I see another possible condition. So let's go to our chart that we're using, this one right here. So we have a trend, right? We have, I'm just going to put a line right there, volatility stop. Let's see, we've got the low, high, higher, low. The whole thing is making higher lows and higher highs. So I'm just going to put a line, or let's put a circle for that one. We're just going to put a circle right here to mark it. So there's 1, 2, 3. Let's see, we already did the volatility stop. We're trending up. Now we have that bullish candle. So a bullish candle might be a condition. And not just a bullish, any old bullish candle. This is a bullish piercing candle that has actually, no, it's just a bullish piercing candle is all it is. Not quite a bullish engulf. But that's a condition. So that's another thing we want to look for in the list of conditions. Nice, Phil. Very nice chart. I like that. Oh, another condition. We've broken out. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 5 conditions right now. 5 conditions. Now, those that have been around a while, you know that I've talked about this before, and you know that I've always said I've had trouble getting 5 full conditions in there. It's really hard sometimes. We're nailing it here because we've added another dimension to the overall scan. So for those that don't have the scanner, okay, I'm not trying to sell you the scanner. I'm not even going to talk about for selling it to you tonight. I don't care whether you have it or not. All right? I really, really don't. But what I'm doing is I'm showing you conditions. Now, we go about getting those conditions with a tool. You can go about getting those conditions if you want by just flipping through charts. There's nothing wrong with that. Did that for years. Nothing wrong at all. But I want you to walk away tonight with looking for these conditions. And that's why I think this is about the closest thing to a perfect scan that I've ever run across, because it puts all these conditions together. Let's see, I better get to answering questions. What time is it? Let's see. Does sand meet your... Well, let's take a look. Sand probably does. Yeah. All right, so let's mark out some conditions here. Let's see. You have pop out of the box or consolidation right here. We've got, oh man, I see another condition too. We see where we're right there at the volatility stop, or, we're a little bit above it. We're a little bit above it, 8.5% above it. But what it's doing, it's showing you that we've got support built. I would never use the volatility stop as a stop. Not in this particular case anyway, because it's too far down there. But you start breaking down, and I would probably use that third candle back. We start breaking down below that third candle, I'm out of there, because you got to know it's going to the 50-day simple. So let's get rid of that right there. So we've got one condition, two conditions. We've got the trend. Whoopsie daisy. There's the trend. We've got the low, high, higher, low, higher, high. I'm going to put just a circle up there. There's a condition. We've broken out of that downtrend. That's a condition. We've broken through and supported above the 50-day simple moving average. I count, come on, mouse. I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 conditions. 6 conditions. That darn near gives you a reason to buy the chart. Nice. Is that Robert? Is that right? Nice chart on sand. Thank you. And I want to, let's go back to this chart right here. And I want to point out, stops are like opinions. We all have one, okay? Somebody's opinion on a stop is directly related to their trading. I know people that would use a stop down here, and that absolutely drives me insane. I think they're plumb cuckoo. But you know what? They've been around a long time. Can't argue with them. They have just created a way to trade where they can put the stop in here. They hold longer too. Your stop can be right here at the volatility stop if you want. If you can afford that 10% risk. I wouldn't do that. I'm looking at this stock basing right here. I would probably go in there and, like I said, use the low of that third bar back. Not because it's a third bar. It's just because it's a good low number, because I don't want to go there. And I'm willing to go up to that area right there. Again, stops are like opinions. They're like noses. They're like elbows. They're like you-know-whats. Everybody's got one. Everybody is one. All right? So when you're looking for a stop, put your stop in. Stops are not difficult. Stops are not difficult. Find valleys, find peaks, find where you've got multiple touches. If the volatility stop happens to be close, then I will be lazy and I will drop it just underneath that volatility stop. But when you look at a chart, take all this, you don't know anything now. This is the only chart we get. I love this chart. That's a nice chart. So where are you going to put your stop? You don't get to say volatility stop because you don't know where it is, because there's no such thing on this chart. Where are you going to put your stop? We have to work at it, don't we? We have to go in and look. So nice chart, but remember, you control where your stop is, where your buy is, where your target is. You control that. All we've done is created a way for you to find the stocks you like. That's all. Let's see. What is the volatility stop? Is it at TC2000? If you have TC2000, top secret. It's called a volatility stop, is all it is. Let's see here. Reggie, thank you, Nair. Reggie, yes, it was helpful. Every time I wait for the price to kiss the V-stop, it kisses and then keeps on going down. That's why you don't want to buy the smooch. You don't want that. You don't want to buy the smooch. Where's my chart? There it is. Here, let's see if we can find one that. All right, let's take CVNA. Where's the buy? Right here. There's the first buy. These are all buys too, but that's the first buy, not the smooch. Let's go down again. Where's the buy? I would say this is the first buy right there. First buy. Second buy, you could buy it here. It's still there. This is not the buy. This one, debatable. I might have got in that early in the day. Let's look at this one. Where's the first buy? Well, I think the first buy at best would have been yesterday. And I'm saying yesterday because we didn't have a green dot here. It's too far away. So that would have been, I would have been hard pressed. And I don't think I would have come up on the scan right there necessarily. But this would have been the first buy. Today's a buy. So Reggie, don't buy the smooches. Go to second base. Get the white candle. This sounds like one of those. Hold my beer and watch this. Maybe. Does LTA scan for higher highs? Yes, it does, Glenn. Absolutely. Well, in a way it does, Glenn. We can pull up a trend, and then there's a scan in there that I use similar for that, is 2-bar low reversing. That might be what you're looking for. So, where you get a 2-bar low that reverses. And if you put a trend on there, you're almost guaranteed to have higher highs and higher lows. Yes, but the LT scanner is best thing that Ed came up with. He has a list of best things, Arnaldo. Yes. Poor Ed has built 10,000 scans. Yes, he has. Yeah. You have no idea. Thanks, Phil. Let's see. Isn't higher highs the trend? What's the difference if not? So for a bullish trend to be bullish, you have a you have a low and a high a higher low, and a higher high. This being the high. So a breakout. And then what it does is it repeats. That's bullish. For bearish, you're down and then you rally up and then you want a lower low. So there's the low. There's the low, and when we go through we get that lower low, and then we repeat. Just like that. That's a bullish trend. Now, I wish bullish trends or bearish trends were perfect, straight lines just like that, but they're not. They get sometimes a little wiggly in there. It just takes a little time to know what to look for. Doesn't take a lot of time, but what it does is it takes some time to look for it. Honestly, less than 3 days, and you can be a perfectionist at seeing trends. Less than 3 days. With that said, I will tell you one of the things that I love to say. The only way you can master that in 3 days or less, and I think everybody can do that, is if you stop trading for 3 days. If you stop looking for something to buy or sell. If you just stop and educate for 3 days, you will be the best trend finder in the world. Your eyes will be so trained on that you will have that down pat. 3 days. That's all you need, Sandra. But you have to quit trading. You have to stop looking for charts for the watch list. You have to stop looking for something to buy. You have to focus on one thing and only one thing. Okay? That right there is worth $1 million in my opinion, Sandra. Thank you, by the way. Harry, is it possible to manage to lose money even after buying sand, which is met 6? Of course it is, Harry. Of course it is. When everything is said and done, there is absolutely no guarantee that this chart is going to go up. Absolutely no guarantee at all. You bet. This trading in the stock market is no difference than going to Reno or Las Vegas. There's no difference in it. You're betting. And the house is stacked against you. But when you put these conditions, and it doesn't have to be these conditions, it can be whatever chart pattern you're looking for. When you put the conditions in your favor, you're just giving yourself a higher probability of winning the trade. But absolutely, there's no guarantee this will go up and you'll make money. And here's another little twist for you. Here's another little twist. 10 people can enter this trade. One person can make money. The stock can go up here and make money, and 9 people can lose money. Go figure that. But I've seen it happen. And that, my friend, is simply learning how to manage your trade. That's another one of those things. Stop trading for a while and learn how to manage trades. Let's see. BTG is another goal. BTG. It sure is. Look at that. Look at that. How beautiful is that? Let's see, Harry. The only truth in trading is the risk. Yes. You control your risk. Everything else will take care of itself. Just control your risk. The winners will come. The winners will come. Let's see, Drew, do you ever use trailing stops to squeeze out more? I'm not a big one on that, Drew, but I'm not against it, okay? I'm not against it at all. I'm just not a big one for doing that. Where I will do that is during the day, and Drew, I think you're in NEM. So during the day, let's say that this moves up. Or better yet, let's gap it up, okay? So what I will do is I will put it on another monitor, on another chart, all by itself so I can watch it. Usually a 15-minute chart, and I'll just keep track of it on that 15-minute chart. And when I see it start to pull back too much, then I will get out of it. So gaps are gifts. We should take them. But there are times when I don't take it. As long as I can monitor it and watch it very closely. As long as it continues to move, I'll take it. It starts to turn red, I'm done. Because I should have taken it right there. So that is one way that I move my stop up. But as far as buying a chart and, well, I guess I do in a way. I'm not overly voiceful about it. But say it moves up, I'll take half the trade off the table, and then I might let the second half work a little higher, manage that trade. So I guess in a way that's moving my stop up. Let's see. Sometimes support is better stop location than a volatility stop. I agree, Bob. Sometimes it is. Look, this is not a. I mean, it can be if you want it, I suppose. But if you want, if you want to maximize your trading, you've got to be able to look at a chart, and you've got to be able to find all that stuff, support, things like that. Which right now, we're gonna. Whoops. Let's go over here. Let's take this, move it across. So there is support right there. Price action support. Other support is the low that these candles have built. So if we break that support, it's going to go down to that support. Somewhere in there, you can fit the volatility stop in here. Let's look at this a different way. This is the only chart you get. Do you like that chart? Do you like that chart? Forget the volatility stop. Forget moving averages. Forget anything that's on the chart automatically. We can trade right here. Just use a naked chart. Look at that. These are all scans that came off. These are all tickers that came off this alert. What more do we want? That might be a watch list, not a buy. What's that? Yum. 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 So, you don't have to have those you don't have to have that chart all mucked up with stuff. It's right there or right here. Would like to see how JBSS. Well, we'll put it over here and just see what it looks like. It certainly is following the volatility stop. I'm going to take it back to a naked chart, though. Certainly is following that volatility stop. I think the way I would mark this chart up is like this, though. Right there. And I would be a buyer only on this particular chart, only on a breakout with a test. I don't like that candle. I do not like that candle. I do not like that candle. And I do not like that candle. I can't say there's any one white candle that I actually like. I have a lot of dislikes. So the one thing I do like is the chart pattern it's making, an ascending triangle. So if we break out, that's just the bulls are freeing themselves up to go higher. So break out and then test and prove to me it can hold up, and then we'll look for those buying candles. Let's see here. TOS has great teachers, but they sometimes set stops. Okay. Phil, you just determined talking shorthand to me, aren't you? And I just don't read shorthand very much. VIRT. VIRT, nice little rally up, actually a nice little trend up. Look at that. Let's put a line right here, right into support. A great candle, nice inverted hammer. Let's go check it out here. Look at us right on those volatility stops. That's a nice chart. Great one for the watch list for tomorrow. Is there a code for the volatility stop in Thinkorswim. D, I don't know. It is there. Somebody will post it in here, I'm sure. I don't know what it is. You said trend is one, and then you said also higher highs and higher lows as another. Aren't they the same? Not necessarily, Sandra. Well, I take that back. They are the same. Mark up a chart. If you don't want to call it a condition, you don't have to. When I look at a chart, I might look at a trend, a shorter term trend, but the higher lows, higher highs might be longer term, or vice versa. The trend might be longer, but you don't always, in a longer trend, you don't always have consecutive higher highs and higher lows. Let's see. Sean, I like to have a Winnebago. WGL. Look at that. Nice, Sean. Look at that. I like that. Very nice chart. Consolidating nicely right here. Let's see. Seen that at the fishing hole. One catching, 9. Not sure what that is. Just came in. Missed it. Sorry, John. Does this scan only work in uptrends, or can you set it for downtrends? Lauren, we're working on it. I've got six windows dedicated to the short side of things, and I've yet figured out the combination. I still need to work with it. I'm not going to give up on it. Just haven't found the combination. And one thing is, longs and shorts don't work exactly the same. We just haven't found that combination yet, but we will. We will. That I promise you. I'm not going to give up on that. On the volatility stop, what is the data source? I guess price. That's what I thought. You kind of caught me off guard on that question. Price is the data source. Let's see. What are the inputs for the 3/8 trap moving averages? What are the inputs? It's the 3 and the 8, Leo. The 3 EMA and the 8 EMA. RV, Procter & Gamble. Procter & Gamble, if we start to see positive trading tomorrow over yet today's candle, then I would look at that as a buy. Right now, if you don't mind buying dojis, that would have been a buy today if you're a little bit aggressive maybe. I think I would prefer it to be over that 120.90 area. Let's see. Is this? Yes, Lauren, this is only for LTA. Okay, we're at the end and we're past time. So let's wrap it up. So remember tomorrow, be careful with the market. Today's candle showed no bullishness. The positive is that I think there were some earnings tonight that were good, so maybe that carries over tomorrow. I think there's still a world of bad news out there. So that could really put the dampener on some trading. So those shorts or puts, they've been a great money maker lately. Saved my bacon more than once. I would watch 261.95 on the SPY, and if we fail that, watch that 251 in a quarter, give or take, down into here. If we start seeing, some bullishness coming up, we just need to see follow through with that, and follow through could give us that J hook type look. But we need to come up and challenge that 50-day simple again and break through before we can get up here to any big numbers. So let's be very careful. want to remind everybody that trading right now is not for everybody. Doesn't mean that you shouldn't be trading. It just means know when to step back. Know when to fight and know when to not fight. Pick your fights. Pick your fights carefully. You don't want to get punched in the face. So anyway, yeah, don't do that. Don't get punched in the face. I want to thank everybody for being here. We will see you tomorrow, bright and early. Remember that the room is open we invited some people to check out the room to the end of the week. And so I appreciate you guests being here. For all the members of Hit and Run Candlesticks and Right Way Options, thank you very much for allowing us to do that. And thank you for all your input tonight and during the day. We'll see everybody tomorrow, okay? Have a great night.